Now, Halls of Lightning. Upon departing Azeroth, the Titans entrusted loyal protectors with safeguarding Ulduar, an enigmatic city. Oh, it's the same. It's the same description. It's the same. Okay, Halls of Lightning. Let's go in here. This is where Loken is hiding. Storm Herald, Elurian. So, this would all tie into the Winter Scorn War, which was not exactly a great time for the Ice Giants. So the Ice Giants are pretty mad about what happened to them. And so that's why this guy's here, because we're helping them basically say f Loken and f the Keepers. No more subjugation and murder of our people. We don't like that. So, the Halls of Lightning. Hardened Steel Reaver. Steel, obviously, being an alloy. If I'm not mistaken, steel is an alloy, right? Steel is from, what do you make steel from? Iron and coal. Ah, see, I got some RuneScape players in the chat. Got some RuneScape, because coal is basically just compressed carbon. I mean, well, yes. Yeah, coal is carbon. Yeah. It's coal because it's carbon. So this place is very grand. And the first thing is like this huge orb in the center. Like, what the fucking shit? Then you have more curtains, like I pointed out before. More of these star shroud curtains. And below, an army of Titanforged. Now, General Bjarngrim is the first boss here. The Iron Forces of Loken are Legion, and their general, Bjarngrim, stands above them all. As the vanguard of Loken's Halls of Lightning, the Iron Commander ensures that any who trespass in his master's domain are terminated with extreme prejudice. So this guy's a warrior. More storm forged around here. Through the power of storms and lightning. And I think by extension, order. Volcan, who is a fire giant. Helping Loken, but I don't remember if it's against his will or not. I'm pretty sure it's not. Pretty sure this guy's just kind of an asshole. But I think he's also trying to do what he can for like for preservation. I can't remember. I remember reading about Volcan. Let me read his dungeon journal. It'll probably say. Loken's powerful legions are a testament to the craftsmanship of his blacksmith, Volcan. His work is never-ending, ceaselessly creating soldiers to fight for the fallen keeper. Which is interesting because you have the Forge of Wills that makes them. Only when the blacksmith's creations stand atop the crumbled bodies of their enemies will his work be done. Eternally folded blade. Eternal, that's fun. Probably look at loot, by the way. Spark of the Forge. And then the Iron Crucible. So this is presumably drawing upon the exact same energies that the Forge of Wills was using to craft here. I mean, we have a very similar mechanism here that looks as though maybe it's a direct mode of power. I mean, it kind of glows blue and white, which kind of freaks me out because you guys know how I feel about blue magic. It freaks me out. Any interesting loot in the Halls of Stone? Well, there was a couple that I pointed out while I was in there. Forge Ember, Spark of Life. Ah, look at that. Interesting. That reminds me of what Aman'Thul says when we die on the seat of the Pantheon. No, after all we have endured, it must not end this way. And then Aenar says, hope is not lost, High Father. The spark of life still flickers within these mortals. Interesting that there's a trinket from Sjonir. Didn't know that. Looks like pure light. And it does. We have these forges of magma. Slag left over. Unbound firestorm. So just kind of elemental shit going rampant down here. And this is on one of the terraces. Blistering steam rager, firestorms. It's all thematic, right? We get up here. This is kind of spooky. I don't really like the piles of body parts. That part's kind of fucked up. I mean, there's literally a fucking head sitting right there. Like, what the fuck, dude? Could you imagine if a head like this got infected with the curse of flesh? Bro, that's fucked up. Literal piles of corpses. Volkan, hello, sir. Sorry, I'm here to kill you.
It is you who have destroyed my children? You shall pay! The master was right to be concerned.
Indeed he was. The master is Loken. This is how the thing in Adam's family came to be. It was a severed hand and infected with the curse. So down here, Hall of the Watchers. And here they are again. And they're like animated titanium thunderer. So now these ones are titanium. Getting closer to platinum. Which is what the Aesir Titans are. So for those who don't know, the Titans are actually Aesir and Vanir as well. And it's listed as such in the RPG lore, Titans WoW. And if you look at them, it's very clear to tell who's Aesir and who's Vanir. Why do they look like Tauren? Because that is a Tauren. There are Aesir gods and there are Vanir gods here. Aesir are the three in the back. They're platinum, platinum, platinum. Vanir are the four in the front. They're bronze, 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 bronze. The thing about Aenar, she's right in the middle. And I always fucking think about this. Her placement in these pieces of art is a no fucking mistake. She's right in the fucking center. Ha! And look at Aman'Thul, extending his hand towards the two with blue glowing eyes, like these Titanforge that I've been pointing out to you while we're here. I wonder what Aman'Thul's doing. But they don't use silver. Yep, they use just about every metal that you can get close to except silver. But I think you're actually wrong about that. I think Galakrond was actually made out of silver. And I think the silver dragonflight is a long-lost dragonflight that either was eradicated or forgotten about. But yeah, I do believe that there was a silver dragonflight at one point. There's a bronze dragonflight. And it's the only metallic dragonflight of any of them, which is interesting. So the fact that we have our bronze, and some would even say gold, that's often how it's described in the books. We don't have our silver. Why doesn't the bronze dude on the left also have blue eyes? Because he's not being controlled. Ionar. Ionar. Oh, I didn't kill the first boss. I never killed him. I just went by him. So I think I might have to go back and kill him. So we'll read this. Loken does not rely on his iron minions as his personal defenders. The Fallen Keeper relies upon lightning itself. Ionar and its cohorts were given sanctuary within the halls of lightning in exchange for their unquestioning loyalty and willingness to slaughter any who seek to confront their new master. So he's literally protected by lightning itself. Man, overlapping dialogue is tough. That's tough. Oh boy, here we go. All right, chat. So here's where shit gets real. This is what I've been waiting for. This room is one of the most insane rooms in the entire game, among Karazhan Library and the main halls of Ulduar as well. Because this room, I believe, depicts some of the Titans' planets. And we will get further into this when we go back to Kara and when we go deep into Ulduar. But I'm almost certain that these planets correspond to the Titans and where they come from. That would be Aenar, more than likely. That would probably be Khazgaroth, more than likely. That would probably be Amenthul and Norganon. These two over here, more than likely, if you were to ask my opinion. And there are more planets that actually can correspond to them. Yes, the color's literally matching the Titans. Yes. You can also see that there are moons depicted orbiting these worlds too. And some of these worlds have rings around them. The difference is that this first world, this one right here, which I think is either Norganon or Amenthul, just has this disc type ring, where these have like almost like a shroud type ring, almost like a nether type ring. You feel me? The reason why I say this one is Aeonar is because, well, it's covered in water. And there's also land masses on it, which leads me to believe that this is a realm of life. I'm pretty sure that this is hers. And once upon a time, I thought maybe that could even be Draenor, because Draenor, Aeonar, you can literally spell the word Draenor with Aeonar in it, and the Spore Mounds were there, but it could just be one of her worlds. This one I say Khazgaroth or even Agramar, because of its orange, you know, orange fire. I think Khazgaroth would be rather fitting there, a molten lord of crafting and forging. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. Could be Elunaria. Could be Elunaria, but we don't see any oceans on Elunaria. We're high on some kind of mountain peak. So could be Elunaria. Yep. Could just be the name of her planet. Could very well be. Very well be. But this isn't all of them. And the reason why we know none of these are Azeroth... Oh, it does have one of those rings. Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, no, this one does. That's the other one. What I think is interesting, though, is look how both of these have that tilted ring. Bro, I'm telling you, Norganon and Amenthul are twins. I'm almost sure of it, dude. They've got to be twins, man. These almost even look like twin worlds, don't they? They're so fucking similar. They're so close. Like a binary star system or something that like led to... I don't fucking know. Like I don't know, dude. I want it to be that so bad, though, for them to be twins. And I think that when we talk about 20 years of potential future WoW storytelling, if we go and visit planets of the Titans, that could very much be like what happens. Like, and then on the ceiling we have these large constellations with these things of light above, kind of creepy looking, honestly. I don't really like those constellations. These constellations probably do mean something. I just don't have the brain power to put it together. Or really, the patience is really more what it's about. But yeah, there's some fun stuff up there. Could relate to these worlds. Let's move on. Or just one split into two, space and time. How many are there? Well, there's only 4 here, but there's actually more than that. How many Titans are there? Slow down. Guys, this is literally this is the tip of the iceberg. This is the tip of the iceberg. You have no idea. Just wait. Then we have Azeroth, and look at what's around it. A grid, a triangular grid. I mean, it's a reused model, so I'm not going to think too hard into it. Triangular grid with stars speckled over it. And with this almost like kind of translucent layer around it. And as I've been pointing out in this raid, there are curtains of stars everywhere. So I do think that they have implemented the same thing around Azeroth. Also, old model in which they didn't want to spoil future landmasses, correct. Tip of the iceberg here. Loken's dialogue is some of the most interesting ever. So remember, Loken is supposed to be corrupted, evil, bent to the will of Yogg-Saron, right? That's what we're told. But let me ask you a question. Who created, I've said this earlier, who created Loken?
I have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth and extinction of entire species. Over countless millennia, the foolishness of mortals has remained the only constant. Your presence here confirms this. My master has shown me the future, and you have no place in it. Azeroth will be reborn in darkness. Yogg-Saron shall be released. The Pantheon shall fall.
My master has shown me the future. And then he lists everything in reverse chronological order. Do you guys recognize that? I have such a big ass brain. He literally, he has it all reversed. The Pantheon has already fallen. Yogg-Saron is on the cusp of being released, and the result of all of this is that Azeroth is supposed to be reborn in darkness. But Loken lists them in the reverse chronological order. Yogg-Saron, I don't think, is the master who showed Loken the future. I don't think it was Yogg-Saron. The foolishness of mortals remains the only constant. Our presence here confirms this.
What hope is there for you? None heralds the end of this world.
And us killing Loken is what triggers the arrival of the Watcher Algalon. That right there is what causes it. So we show up and killing Loken is what triggers our ultimate demise. Yo, the texture of a fucking Titan Forged is in the ceiling. Do you see that? That's a face. You see these, I don't know if this is a broken texture or what. It's a broken model? Okay. I've never noticed that before. What a weird thing. And that's Halls of Lightning. My people will stand idle no longer. The halls of Ulduar shall be cleansed. Indeed. And this sends a giant beam into the fucking sky. A beacon that calls down Algalon. This terrestrial watchtower is what this is called, by the way. The Prime, let me read what Loken's thing says. The Prime Designate of Azeroth was tasked to keep Yogg-Saron secure within its prison. None could have foreseen that the Keeper entrusted to safeguard the world from the Old God's malevolence would be the one responsible for its undoing. And so what I suggest by Loken showing him the future is that, Norganon showing him the future is that Loken's choices just behind his chair is that, yes, that the Titans knew that the Old Gods would escape. That just like Uldir falling apart and the fucking seals breaking and Gahun getting out, the Titans probably knew that there was a possibility of that happening. Or that there was a guarantee of that happening. And so, I don't know. I personally think it paints them in even more of a fucking sus light than before. Because if they know that this shit's gonna happen, well, they could have designed it. Alright. Well, that just leaves one instance then, huh?